Hey guys, how's it going? So this video is in response to the deluge of emails that I received to make a video on what are my thoughts about this coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, and possibly a cure or a preventive measure for it. Okay, so this is in response to all of you, not just the one who emailed me, but to my subscribers out there, and also to whoever is watching this video. In Vedic astrology, or rather using the means of Vedic astrology, there is no cure for the COVID-19 now. This is very, very important message, okay? This message is about vigilance, it's about people being responsible to what they say and what they mean, okay? Now, there is no cure, right? Let's get that straight, ladies and gentlemen. There's no cure using the means of Vedic astrology, right? Why? It's for one simple reason. For one thing, if you have the cure, you would not be sitting in front of your computer in your house and talk about it. You should have contacted the government and WHO and the medical people, community, and you should have been in the front line fighting fire by now, right? The last thing you should be doing is making YouTube videos. So that itself shows that these people lack the credibility and especially they're irresponsible. You should not be doing this. Is a time where people are, the only thing that people have right now is hope, right? We are at the mercy of the government, of the medical professionals, of the scientists who are doing research, and the only thing we as common people, we can only pray that this thing will just pass, right? That's the only thing we can do. We can prevent, right? But we should not go out and say that there's cure, all right? Unless you are doing some research and possibly something that would make a difference, then yes, go to the government. Don't sit in front of the computer and do YouTube videos and send all this false propagation. This is not helping anyone, all right? This is even making things worse, all right? The fire should be doused. Okay, don't just make it worse, right? So please understand that. Be responsible to whom it may concern. If anyone knows about this, right? If you have a cure, don't sit at home. Just talk to your medical community out there and get it fixed. Okay, so people out there, if there's no cure in terms of via Vedic astrology, there's no cure. There is a preventive measure. That is something I'm going to talk shortly. But please, there's no cure, all right? If there's a cure, the person should not be talking in front of the computer, all right? It should be doing, helping people survive. People are dying out there. So please remember, this is a very important message, right? Be vigilant, be thoughtful about what you accept from the internet. Number two is about the folks who say that yes, at this particular time, at this particular period, that this virus may cease to affect, it will cease to transmit. Humans may not be contracted with COVID-19 after this particular time. Okay, that's another thing that we need to talk about. Maybe there is a level of truth there, but let me just explain to you how difficult is that, to actually come up with a time frame for when this particular virus would cease to be affecting human beings. Okay, first is to understand the complexity, the difficulty on coming up with such claims, or to say that this particular virus will stop at this date and time. Is one needs to understand the basics of Jyotisha, right? Now the basics is the Jyotisha is divided to 6 levels, 6 angas, right? The Shata Anga, the 6 limbs, the 6th division of Jyotisha, which is Gola, Ganita, Prashna, Muhurta, Chataka, and Nimitta. Right? Gola, Ganita, Muhurta, Prashna, Chataka, Nimitta. Okay. What are these? Gola is geographical understanding, astronomical understanding. Right? Ganita are the mathematics which is used to decode or decipher what the Gola is trying to say. It's basically the application of it, right? And then you have the Muhurta or electional astrology. You want to start something, you want to make sure that that's the right time to start. that is muhurta. And Jataka is your natal, right? About you yourself. It's more not on a broader scale, but it's more individual. It's about the human. It's about the person themselves. Next will be prashna. Prashna is when a querent goes to the astrologer and say that, look, I'm thinking about doing such and such thing, right? Or I thought something would go on how I wanted it to be, but it didn't go. Why is that? Or I wanted to apply for a visa. Is this the should I do it or not? It's not about the time. The time is muhurta, but it's whether an action to be performed or not. Or I'm thinking about an event which would happen, but I'm not sure whether it's going to happen or not. Okay, those are some doubts that you have, some questions that you have that you need to clarify, and that would not require time of birth, date of birth, nothing. It's based on the time the querent goes to the astrologer. Okay, so questions which is out of spur, spontaneously coming to you, and you need some kind of answer, then that's called prashna. Okay, so I've covered Gola, Ganita, Muhurta, Jataka, Prashna, Nimitta. Now this is where the thing comes. Nimitta Shastra is, they talk about omens, portents, prophecies, right? Things should happen in a more high level. It's not for an individual, like Jataka is individual, right? This is more on rather a bigger level, right? It's more of a global level, I would say. But definitely more than a group of people or a community. It's bigger than that, right? It's the omens, and the Shaguna Shastra is more details. So this is where we can sort of predict what's going to happen for a particular country, or the entire world, right? It's like weather forecast. That's a good thing we can say. These are all part of nimitta. And inside, if you go further in nimitta, you'll go to Madini Shastra, or Madini Jyotisha they call it, which also called as the mundane astrology. I'm sure you've heard about that. Mundane astrology is where we talk about cataclysmic events, huge events like this COVID-19 pandemic. That's cataclysmic. Tsunami, typhoons, earthquakes, whatnot. Those are major catastrophes which is going on. So Nimitta Shastra, part of that is Madini Shastra. That's the one that can be used to predict such huge occurrences which will happen. Now, if you look at my services which I provide, all the 15 services which I provide, you will not see mundane astrology there. Why? Is simple. Okay, I can tell you, right? This is not. This is not modesty or prideful talking. It's the fact that I'm really not in a position to do so. It's just not easy. Mundane astrology is not easy as what people think it is. Now, if imagine, predicting something in such a magnitude, right? Like COVID-19 pandemic, all right? You need, first of all, you need to understand the Nimitta Shastra, the Madini Shastra to begin with. That yourself will take, 30, 40 years maybe. Then you need to have a good understanding of the Gola and the Ganita Shastra. Now, people may say Gola and Ganita, now, of course, we have NASA feeds, we have computers and all that, fine. But there are times when you need to tweak all this mathematics, right? Based on whatever variables are there, right? So again, it is not an easy thing to come and say that, this graha is moving to this rasi, as such is going to happen, so and so thing. That is childlike astrology. That's what cafeteria astrology. It is more Sunday paper astrology. Don't take that seriously. It is not easy to predict mundane astrology. There are people out there. There are gurus out there, Jyotish gurus, who can do it. All right. Personally, I can't. It is not easy. So again, cure for COVID via Vedic astrology? No, don't believe. That is outrageous. Okay, that's just silly. Second is the timing which they give. Particular time is going to cease or not. That's the thing which you really need to do self-inquiry to check the credibility of the astrologer himself or herself, and then come with a decision. Okay, maybe this is true or not. So that's about the vigilance part I want to talk to you in this video. Second is preventive measure. Okay, this is where I would like to say that there is a particular remedy where it is very strong, It is very potent if you perform this. Okay. Now, there is a graha which is responsible for a few things which I'm going to say right now. So I would like you to pause the video shortly. Think about what graha is that. Okay, this graha is responsible for suddenness. It is responsible for old age, responsible for pandemic, epidemic, even smaller endemic levels, so all the classifications of those. It is responsible for catastrophe, calamities, cataclysmic events. It is also responsible for death by suffocation. It is responsible for, let me guess, what else? Formidable diseases which are very dangerous, things which it's difficult to fight them. Okay. Did I mention old age? Yeah, I think I did mention old age, right? So these are some of the attributes of this graha. Now, it clearly shows that this graha is responsible for pandemic or any form of virus. Again, this graha also represents foreign. So virus is a foreign element in the body, which again, which is the problem with the whole thing, right? So there is a particular graha for this. So it's more of a trivial question. Maybe you can hit the pause button and then think about it. Okay, for those who have got it right, it's Rahu. Yeah? Rahu Bhagavan is responsible for what you're seeing right now. He is the demon that is actually causing this entire problem that we're having. It's more of a plague level, right? It's an outbreak. It is, they're saying it's going to be even greater in magnitude. So I do not wish to claim anything or say anything to create fear or panic. That's the last thing anyone should do who's responsible. What we can do is we can prevent ourselves. All right. So now that you know Rahu is responsible, so who is presiding deity of Rahu? Goddess Durga. She is the presiding deity of Rahu. Now, interestingly, immunity. Right, if you go and read if you go through the scriptures, you understand that Goddess Durga is the personification, one of the personification. She's got a few, right? She is also the feminine part. She is power. She is strength, and all that. Immunity is one of her attributes. Okay, so which is why if you can connect or you can communicate and be in alignment with Goddess Durga, Rahu would never stand a chance, because Rahu is sort of reporting to the boss, which is Goddess Durga. Okay, put it that way, right? So to prevent from this happening, to be contracted, even let's say you are in the medical line, you're the front line, you're working in a hospital, or you're working in the police and fire or the national service and all that. You need to go out. You're working in the utilities environment. You need to people municipal people. Anyone who's out there working, right? You can protect yourself by performing this one remedy. That's it. I'm going to share only one remedy. That is reciting the Devi Stuti. The Devi Stuti is so powerful; it increases your immunity, right? That's how you can sort of not only immunity, but creates a shield, a protective shield in front of you. So you are protected. Okay, you're protected no matter what comes. Especially protection from this dreaded disease. The COVID-19 pandemic is going on like wildfire now. So we can prevent this from happening to our own self. Of course, if you can prevent this on a level, on that individual level, then you are a responsible person. Like washing hands and keeping yourself out of contact and all that, being in your house and all that. Same thing, right? When you perform the Devi Stuti, you are creating a secondary level of protection. You are creating a kind of an energy and aura, that will sort of reflect whatever malefic disease which is being coming towards you. All right. So this is a great thing. I suggest that any of you who like to have this as a preventive measure, please do it. The Devi Stuti I've pasted in the description section, so you can have a look, and also the one in Sanskrit and also the translation of it. What is this Devi Stuti? A stuti, let's talk about stuti. A stuti is basically a hymn of propitiation, reverence to God. You revere God, like praising them, extolling them. Okay, so what we're thinking, how is that even? When you praise someone, when you praise God, how is that going to be a beneficial? How would it actually create the shield? Simple. the divinity or divine will only work no matter how long you pray, whatever liturgy, whatever rituals that you do. What's important is to have bhakti, right? Devotion, right? And devotion will only come through surrendering. Right? You must surrender to God, everything. There shouldn't be a tiny bit of a doubt as well, right? So even when you pray, there shouldn't be even the smallest qualm, even the slightest worry. You should be praying with hope, right? 100% surrender. And the studis are nothing but that. It is for you to surrender. It's preparing your mind, your psyche, and your soul to surrender to God. All right. So remember, the Devi Studi is very powerful. It's very potent. It creates that aura, and it's a secondary protection besides the obvious ones, right? But it is again a secondary protection for you. All right? For those who are not into the Hindu faith, because I have many clients who are non-Hindus. There are also practical or circular remedies. If you're interested, just email me at prakashjyotisa@gmail.com and I'll be able to give you the remedies there as well. Alright, so this is my take, guys. Let me know what you think about it, and most importantly, please be responsible. Right? It's the same thing as people who drink and drive. It's not about you. It's about taking another person's life, another innocent's life. The same thing, right? Follow what the government is saying, follow what the medical professionals are saying, adhere to their rules, and together we can stop this terrible plague which has been going on, right? Let's put a stop to this, and if there's anything that I can do to help, please you can put it in the comment section, or you can just email me. So I think this video is very important, guys, to create vigilance and understanding, and most importantly, the preventive measure. So if you think this video is, if it's beneficial, then I hope that you could spread to your friends and family. Yeah, that's about it. So take care. Most importantly, be safe. Namaste.